entrance. We have 10 bathroom stalls behind the tent, so if you have the need to use the bathroom, please exit the hall through either one of the exit points and use the convenience. So today we're going to be going through a brief set of activities, but before we do that, I'd like to recognize the presence of some distinguished members of the council with us. I'm starting with the Spe Nigeria Council Chair, Engineer Francis Nwoche, FNSE. Please put your hands together for him. Can everyone put their hands together for the Council Chair? All right, thank you so much for that. We have the SPEI President, Professor Jennifer Miss Kimmins. Can you put your hands together for her? We have the wife of the SPE Africa Regional Director, Mrs. Margarita Opong. Please put your hands together for her. All right, so we would be starting with the welcome address. The welcome address will be given to us today by the Council Chair. Let's put our hands together as we welcome Engineer Francis Nwoche, FNSE. Please put your hands together as he makes his way to the stage.
So good afternoon, and thank you for coming. I'm looking forward to an exciting time, and I'm sure you're looking for an exciting time. So let me try one of the stunts I do in church sometimes. I know you find church. Since you didn't really clap for me, clap for yourselves. When they don't invite somebody, I tell them, tell your neighbor, thank you for inviting somebody to church. So, a few remarks. Distinguished industry leaders, representatives of Sahara Energy, esteemed partners, invited guests, colleagues, students, and our future energy professionals. Good afternoon, and welcome to the inaugural Spe Naice Career Fair. Today's event actually represents the realization of a vision. That's what it is. For several years, the Society of Petroleum Engineers, Nigerian Council, envisioned creating a career fair as an integral part of Naice. That's a platform where industry and academia converge, where students and young professionals connect with employers and mentors, and where careers are launched. We're therefore especially delighted that Sahara Energies shared this vision with the same passion that we did. They did not just simply sponsor an event, they partnered with us to bring this vision to life. On behalf of the Society of Petroleum Engineers, Nigeria Council, I express our sincere appreciation to Sahara Energies for believing in this initiative and for sponsoring this inaugural Spe Naice Career Fair. Please join me in giving them a well-deserved round of applause. So as we discuss the future of energy throughout this conference, of course, we must remember that the future of our industry is not really in all the oil and gas that we talk about. It will be ultimately be all about people. In my company, some of you may know I work with Chevron, we call it human energy. That's really what we're all about. So our industry is evolving rapidly. There's artificial intelligence, there's digitalization, automation, and such like. And these things redefine the skills that are required for success. Tomorrow's professionals must combine technical excellence with digital competence, commercial awareness, adaptability, and strong ethical leadership. I'm hoping that this career fair is therefore much more than a recruitment event. It's a platform for opportunity, mentorship, networking, and inspiration. It connects ambition with experience, education with industry, and potential with possibility. To me, I'll be the proudest person if tomorrow somebody comes to meet me and says, I was at the career fair and that changed my career. That changed my destiny. It always gives me the greatest pleasure. So to those that have come today, I want you to leave with 3 thoughts. First, always commit to lifelong learning. Your degree opens doors, but continuous learning will keep you relevant. Second, distinguish yourself through excellence. Build not only your technical competence, but also your communication skills, leadership, integrity, teamwork, and ability to solve complex problems. Those qualities will set you apart in an increasingly competitive industry. For things like this nice conference and places that I work, I won't forget somebody that I used to look up to. We had one event, everything was looking all nice. And he comes in and just comes to the podium and says, something is wrong here. Everything looks beautiful. But what's the difference? He's looking for excellence. Excellence. I kind of learned it a bit. People ask me, oh, you're trying to just go to the extreme. Why are you so fussy about something? It's because somehow I always feel inadequate. Not inadequate in that I'm not confident in myself. No. Inadequate, I call it a blessing, a good thing. I always feel like in my office, in my team, I feel without the team, I can't succeed. Doesn't matter how good I am. So if I come to something like that, I feel it's not yet enough. What else can we miss? And once you build that excellence, it can take you to a different level. Third, make meaningful connections. Careers are built on competence, but they are accelerated by relationships, by mentorship and reputation. I have one young colleague working for me that somebody sent an email this morning. That's the first time I woke up to see. How she had asked the colleague of mine, the person that works for me, to do some work and she didn't want to do it. Primarily because she's overwhelmed with work that I've given to her. And she kind of gives her feedback. And you'll get that throughout the work process. She's telling her that I gave you some work, you didn't do the work for me, you give me excuses. That is about managing relationships. And I've been trying to coach her how to manage that relationship because you never can tell. You might come back to meet the person. And you'll see that in the office. A lot of politics, a lot of all those things. So engage with professionals today. Ask questions, listen carefully. And finally, I commend the Career Fair Committee and every organization participating today for making this vision a reality. My hope is that this inaugural career fair will become permanent, that Sahara will sponsor maybe for the next 10 years, and it will become a defining feature of every future Nice. I was speaking to the president here just now, SPI president, I felt that in the next coming years, this place, I believe, if we continue this fair, it will be full. And that's what we really want, where we have companies of all types coming to hire the next set of the future of our energy industry. So with these remarks, it's my great pleasure to declare this career fair officially open. Thank you. And as I'll use the way we say it in Nigeria, I pray you get a job. Amen.
Okay, please put your hands together for the chair. Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful opening remark. At Sahara, we believe in making a difference, and no better person to emphasize what that means for our career pathway than the group head of HR, Mrs. Emilomo. Can you put your hands together for her? She makes her way up to the stage. She's not coming up because the applause is not loud enough. Put your hands together. This is the group head of HR, Sahara.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Even though you didn't clap for me, It's a delight to be here. So first, I think we should all give ourselves a round of applause for being here. I'll stand on existing protocols. Good afternoon, everyone. And special thanks to the President, Spe International, the Council Chair for Lagos, and all the distinguished Council members, distinguished colleagues, and young professionals in the room. It's a pleasure to be here at our inaugural career fair. Special thanks to the SP for this opportunity to engage with such an inspiring audience. Now, for those who may not know us, Sahara Group is a homegrown energy conglomerate. We've been in the energy space for 3 decades. We actually turned 30 this month. We have operations in 42 countries across Africa, Middle East, and Asia. We're present in the entire energy value chain, upstream, midstream, downstream, power, and even infrastructure. Now, in the upstream space, we have some audacious goals. We're looking to ramp up our production to about 350,000 barrels per day. And you can tell that at the heart of that lies the talent, the people who will help us achieve this agenda. We're looking to hire about 2,000 talent across multiple disciplines: engineering, subsurface, finance, supply chain, and what have you. At Sahara Group, we're very passionate about developing the next generation of leaders who will be contributing their quota to the energy sector. Currently, we have 3 graduate trainee programs. There's the maiden one, the graduate management trainee program. I got into Sahara about 2 decades ago through that program. We have the graduate engineer program, and we have the graduate business analyst program. All of these are designed to help us identify and nurture exceptional talent. As we say in Sahara, we're looking for the exceptional ones, the mad ones. Not mad in terms of being insane, but in terms of making a difference responsibly. As part of our growth journey, we're looking for passionate professionals, the ones who are willing to challenge the norm, the ones who are willing to ask questions, the ones who are not comfortable with status quo. We're looking for problem solvers. We're looking for proactive talent who are willing to change the face of the energy landscape. We believe there's a place for everyone in the room to make meaningful and impactful difference and careers within the energy sector. Today is more than just a career fair. It's an opportunity to connect. It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to explore how you can become a part of shaping the future of the energy landscape, not just locally, but on the global scene. We look forward to meeting with you, discussing your skills, and hopefully making you mad. Thank you for being here.
Can we put our hands together once again for the group head of HR for that wonderful talent snapshot? All right. Before we get into the next activity, I just want to announce that there will be a panel session right after this. But very quickly, we want to recognize the presence of the SPEI president again, Professor Jennifer Miskimins. She'll be coming up and she'll be giving us a wonderful remark. So she's going to launch us right into the panel session and leave us with things to take home and think about. All right.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing? How are you doing? Good, okay. Raise your hand if you're nervous. Be honest, come on. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I just have a couple remarks. The reason I ask you about being nervous is I remember my first interview. It was quite some time ago, I do remember that, but I remember being very nervous about interviewing. I had a couple of interviews that day. I'd never done anything like that before. I'd never really had any coaching. I had no idea what I was walking into. And it was a scary experience. And it has for every job that I've interviewed since. There's just no way to get around being a little bit nervous when you're going into a position like this or into an opportunity like this. So it's okay to be a little nervous. It's absolutely fine to be a little nervous. I get asked a lot about SPE and whether Society of Petroleum Engineers can get them a job. That's not really what we're here for. We're not here to get people a job. What we're here for is to help them develop the skills to get the job, okay? We're here to help you with your technical skills. We're here to help you with your personal development. We're here to help you with your networking. We're here to help you and provide you opportunities like this career fair here today. So this is one of those opportunities, and I truly, truly hope you take advantage of it. Some of you might know that my being the SP president is a volunteer position. My day job is I'm actually a professor. I'm the department head and professor at the Colorado School of Mines and Petroleum Engineering. And I'm also taking over mining engineering in the next month, so I'm pulling them all in. I'm gonna bring them all together. But what that means is I've spoken with a lot of students over the years, and I've spoken with a lot of young people, whether they're currently my students, whether they're new in their careers and they're kind of looking at different opportunities. What I want to encourage you today is take advantage of it. Whether you get a position or not today, and I hope you all get a position, but whether you get a position or not today, treat it as practice. Treat it as, it's a learning skill. Interview is a learning skill. You'll learn how they kind of go. You'll learn kind of some of the questions. You'll learn how to respond to those questions. So practice. Think about it as being a practice. Be yourself. You've got the skills. You've got the education. Just be yourself. Answer the questions. Talk with the interviewer. They wouldn't be here if they didn't want to talk with you. So take advantage of that. And another thing I'm going to encourage you to do is network in between interviews. While interviews are going on, you're going to have some time. Meet somebody new. Many of you probably came with friends today. Meet somebody new. Start to build your network, because that's really what SP events are all about. Don't be disappointed or discouraged if things don't go quite like you'd like them to. If you have a passion, and this is something I always tell my students, if you have a passion for what you are doing, you will find a place, and you will absolutely find a place in this industry. So keep that passion. So thank you to the SP Nigeria Council for having the foresight to have this event. Thank you very much to Sahara Energies for their sponsorship. I know they're looking very much forward to speaking with you all, and I wish you all the best of luck today. Thank you.
Remark. I'll be inviting Modupe to the stage to welcome the panelists and tell us what today's panel will be all about. Put your hands together as we welcome Modupe.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are we feeling today? Are you feeling good? You're nervous? Anyway, we're so happy to have you here today. We've heard our HR lead, we've heard our SP president talk about what we're here to do. And this panel session is titled Positioning as a Young Professional in the Oil and Gas Sector. Essentially, when I started out my career and when my friends and I started out our career, we were very confused on, are we going to be able to say the right things at these interviews? What should our CVs look like? What soft skills should we have? What hard skills should we have? What type of places should we be looking to work at? We're very confused because, all the while, especially studying engineering, it's not something that we're particularly taught in school. A lot of what we learned was, I studied electrical, so it was a lot of control engineering. telecommunication engineer. It was very focused on the hardcore technical skills. But unfortunately, in today's world, it takes more than that to land a good job. And what we're trying to help you out here to do today is what is the best way to position, especially in the oil and gas industry. And as you know, with the career fair, we intend to have some interviews along the line. So we hope that a lot of people make it through, but even if you're unable to make it through the interview, you would leave here knowing how to position better in the industry for an interview, in an application. The SPE director said we're here to network, and people do get jobs through networking. So as you're here, how do you position to maximize on all the opportunities that you have outside of a regular interview? So that's really what we're here to do today, and we do hope that you listen to the panelists, you ask us questions, and when you're leaving here, you are properly positioned as a young professional, especially in the oil and gas industry, and especially with Sahara. So I'm going to be calling my panelists here with me today, and I want you all to please give them a round of applause as they're coming up. I don't want anything quiet. So the first person I'll be introducing is Anu Oshinaike, who is a reservoir engineer with the Upstream Group. He currently works on one of our largest assets in sub-Saharan Africa, actually. The next person I'll be calling up is Olamide Adeyemi, who is a budget and cost control lead in Sahara Upstream Group. I'd also have on stage with me Harrison Aziba, who is the manager with business development and commercial of Sahara Upstream Group. And finally, we would have Baba Femi Origbemi Shoye, who is a reservoir engineer with NNPC. All right, so I'm just going to be talking to them. It's going to be a discussion. They will tell us, how their journey has been in the industry, how they think you should best position for interviews, for applications, whilst meeting your experienced colleagues, and then we'll hand it over to you and get some questions from the crowd. Does that work for everybody? Lovely. So let's get into it. Okay, I'll just sit here. Do you guys have mics? Should I? Okay. All right, so let's get into it. My first question will be for Mr. Aziba Harrison. So in your time in Sahara, like how many interview sessions would you say you've been at?
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for being here, and it's also a pleasure to be here. So when I got into Sahara, I think it was about 5 interviews,
Okay.
right? And it was filled with a lot of fun,
Okay.
right? Going through the interviews stage by stage, and I just got prepared. Going through that experience, I was able to understand what I was getting into, right? It wasn't an orthodox process where you go, you write a test, do an interview, get the offer, and you move on. It was fun, it was exhausting, but it was worth it.
Fantastic. So you've been on that side, but at the same time, you've also been on the other side, interviewing a lot of candidates.
Very much often, yeah.
A handful of them.
Yeah.
So what would you say you look out for when you're sitting in front of an applicant? What are the things that make them stand out to you?
So I think it would depend on the levels you are interviewing for. So if you're interviewing for an entry-level role,
Yeah, a young professional.
for a young professional, you want to see the attitude to life,
Okay.
right? Yes, you've gone through school, you have a good grade, that's the reason you're in front of us. But everyone most likely makes a 2-1 or a first class. What stands you out? I want to see that eagerness to learn. I want to know that you are convinced that impossibility is not in the dictionary, right? There are times you ask some candidates some questions and they get put off, right? It means that those people, when they are placed in front of real life situation, they will get turned down easily. And the truth about life is that for most of the occurrences in your life, as much as you would prepare for those, you most likely will not be prepared. So it's your ability to think on your feet, your ability to convince me that you are interested in doing what you're applying to do, and your ability to convince me that you're not here to be a mediocre. So I always tell myself that if the bare minimum is looking for, you just want to get a job, get a good pay, and go home, sleep, then Sarah is not for you. But if you want to really make a difference, you want to do mad things, you want to go into every day excited and confused at the same time because of the size and magnitude of what you set out to do, then those are the kind of people we look out for.
Thank you so much. So Harrison has said it's the mindset, the impossible is nothing, making a difference mindset outside of your technical skills. So I'm going to ask Olamide, if you can please take us back to when you tried to get your first role, right? And having gone through this journey, now seeing a lot of young professionals here, what advice would you give them if you were to start over?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So if I'm going to go back to how I started, it's going to be different for people that are fresh graduates, post-NYSC. The mindset is different from someone that is a young professional, right? But still on everything is the same. So first of all, you have to know, beyond your course of study, you have to have an idea of the kind of industry you want to work in. And good enough, we're in the oil and gas space. And so actually thinking about it, I really wanted to work in an oil and gas company when I just left, finished NYSC. So I had a list, and trust me, I'm not even giving you Bobo. I had a list of companies that I wanted to apply to, and I did start applying, and I sent emails, and I was looking out for oil and gas companies. And then the second industry was, strangely, I wanted to work with the World Bank, but I never got that opportunity. I'm sure a lot of people have those things. So Sahara came, and with that, just like he said, he went through a very fun but rigorous experience. But what it did for us is to really know that beyond what we go through in school, like our life experiences also matters. So even as you've gone through school, all your other experiences matters. So when you're positioning yourself for an interview, you don't have to only talk about your course of study or your things you did in school. You can talk about your life experiences. So those are the things that I put forward that helped me in getting the job. Not just the basic stuff that that school would give you, but you volunteered in church, you talk about it. Those life skills, communication should be clear. So really, I think I'll do the same thing I did to get where I am. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Olamide. So the life skills are important. Everything that you're using your time to do today is very important. The conferences that you attend, the articles you write, your, what do you call it now? How you spend your time, what you're volunteering at, they're all very important and come together. All right, so I will go to Femi, right? It's not every time that, or let me ask you first, when you started out, what do you think made you stand out from others?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Starting out as a graduate engineer before moving into reservoir engineering, one thing I would believe made me stand out was being open to taking up tasks that nobody would. Right? It's a key thing because at work, we have our tasks that is given to each and every one of us, right? But for you to stand out, for you to showcase your talents amongst amongst a lot of contemporaries, you have to go that extra mile, right? You have to do that extra. And one thing I noticed was, it's quite simple to do these things. You don't need to do one extraordinary solution, solve one problem that brings about 1 million barrels to the company. No, it's something simple. So who takes the minute of meetings? You say, let me do it. Something simple as that. Okay, so. Yeah, sorry, I'm back. So say a task like, who's going to anchor this meeting? Who's going to anchor this program? Who's going to speak with our JV partners? Who's going to work on this tax? It's nobody's tax. It's nobody's business. Thank you. But you have to take up that challenge to stand out. It gives people or your colleagues the mindset that, oh, I see this person. I see that when I need to get something done, I can call on him, I can call on her to get that job done. And before you know it, that narrative spreads and it becomes kind of like your reputation. I think that's the key thing that made me, at the beginning of my career, made me stand out. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That deserves a round of applause. So he said, going the extra mile. When they ask you to jump, you jump and ask how high, even go higher and beyond. You don't ask why first. So thank you, Femi. Now, Anu, I'd like to ask you, I see that sometimes, especially for young graduates, right, that are looking for opportunities, sometimes it's not the opportunity that they set out to look for that they get. So someone is applying and hoping that they work as a reservoir engineer, but unfortunately, the starting opportunity is with maybe project or maybe well engineering, slightly different from where they kind of thought their career would take them when they are starting out. What type of advice would you give that person? Would you say go for the opportunity if the company is a right fit? Or when you go in, how do you position to maximize that opportunity?
Thank you for the question. So essentially, I think it's important to be versatile in your expectations, right? It's important to keep an open mind when, as a YP or when you're seeking an entry-level role. You may not start off with what you intend, but I would like to say no knowledge is a waste. Whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. And so whatever space you find yourself, whatever functions you're presented with, just ensure that you're delivering to the best of your capability, right? Because at the end of the day, your lessons or your learnings from whatever you're doing can be taken into your future endeavors, right? And I think I'll use myself as an example. So I came into Sahara, I have a background in geoscience, for example, but when I was going to be confirmed, I was confirmed as a reservoir engineer. And that was an entirely new space for me in Sahara, right? But that pretty much sums up Sahara for you. It's a very believing organization. They believe in your ability to adapt, in your ability to fit into new roles and be able to solve new challenges. And so when I was presented with a reservoir engineering role, I took the opportunity to identify how my background fits into my new role and what skills I can leverage on in my new role. And essentially, I think I just became intentional about developing competency in that new function. And I've done that for a number of years now because Sahara presented me with that opportunity. And looking back, I would say it was probably the best thing that could happen to me for my career at the time. I had done geoscience for a few years before joining Sahara, and being able to move into a new space in the upstream industry kind of broadened my horizon and pretty much gave me a better view of what the industry is, helped me learn more about the value chain than I knew at the time. So I'll say take whatever opportunity comes your way and pretty much give it your best.
Thank you so much, Anu. Please, can we give him a round of applause? take every opportunity, give it your best. No knowledge is lost. You're just starting out your journey. You really don't know the length and breadth of where that experience is going to take you. Just give it your best shot. No knowledge is lost, especially when you're starting out your career. Thank you so much for that, Anu. So I would like to ask Femi again. So with what you know in the industry, you work with NEPL, right? Subsidiary of NMPC. So my question would be, when these people land their dream jobs, which might be at Sahara, which might be at NNPC, what would you say are the key skills, apart from the mindset that you've spoken about? What are the key skills that they should look to building in the first 0 to 2 years? With both companies being extremely large, growing companies with a lot of opportunities, sometimes it can be overwhelming. Sometimes it can be confusing for some people. You work with so many people. As someone that is just starting out their career, 0 to 2 years, fortunate enough to be working for Sahara Group, or fortunate enough to be working for NNPC, what skills would you tell them to focus on?
Okay, so as a new joiner in, not just in NFPC or Sahara, in any company you find yourself, there are expectations. The expectations for you at that moment in time, nobody is expecting an experienced head or expecting you to be quite versatile in the technical work you're going to do at the company. However, there are skills that would help you that will help you as you grow in the industry. Number one skill I would say is your ability to learn, or trying to learn, that learning skill, because they will be teaching you a lot, right? Most companies have development programs for new joiners, some 1 year, 2 years. At NNPC, I think we have a 2-year graduate development program where they go through different sub-series and sub-units, right? So you want to pick up as much as possible. You want to learn as much as possible, because it's kind of like a beginning of a race. It's kind of similar to when you start university and you start with a bad grade and you find out that it's quite difficult to come out with a good degree when you start with a bad grade. So you want to start on a very good, strong foot. Another thing you want to do is you want to learn, work on your interpersonal skills, because people will be looking at your communication, they'll be looking at your teamwork, collaboration, right? They'll be looking at your technical skills. In addition to that, is a total package. Right? So at this point in time, you want to learn a lot. You want to show yourself that you are teachable. You are adaptable to learning, right? Because you'll be moving through different sub-units, units that might even be outside, just like I don't know his name. It's like I know spoke. You'll be moving through units that you didn't think you would do. I have graduate trainees working with me. She studied chemistry. She's in reservoir engineering. I mean, you just have to come with that learning mindset that I'm a clean slate, I'm going to grab as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Femi. Clean slate and grab everything, grab it all. So I believe someone has a question in the audience. Do we have anyone with a question? If you have a question, please raise your hand. Okay. Okay, so we have a couple of people raising hands. Can someone please give them a mic? So there's someone at the back there.
All right, thank you so much to our panelists. So I have a few questions here. And the first of all, so for a fresh graduate, and let's say someone looking for a graduate training opportunity, so what are the things the industry look out in their CVs? Like, what are the expectations you have of recent graduates? What are those things that you look out that for for a fresh graduate, we expect to see this? And secondly, does leadership roles, volunteering experience, and let's say writing papers, does it give someone an age, like during interviews and during CV, regardless of, let's say at least the person has a 2-1, or maybe the person does not have a first class, like does it give the person an age? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. So the first one you asked is, when we see an applicant's resume or CV, what are the key things that we look out for? And then the second one we have kind of answered. The second question was around, regardless of your result, 2-1, 2-2, is it important to us the other things that you've done, the papers that you've written, your volunteering experience? I remember Olamide spoke specifically to that. That is just as important as what you have learned in school. So yes, recruiters typically look at, I can speak for Sahara Group, that is something that is important for us to look at. Outside of what you have done with your education, where have you volunteered? What interests do you have? What do you spend your time doing? What passions do you have? What articles? What's your thought process like? If you're writing a technical paper, why? Just talk us through it. So yes, I can say that it's extremely important what you're spending your time doing today. It's important. But in terms of CVs and what sparks our interest here, I'll just hand that over to Harrison.
Okay. So I'm not a recruitment expert, right? But I know that organizations nowadays are deploying AI to review your CVs, right? So what you want to do is to ensure that you are capturing your experiences with the right industry jargons, right? That way, when the AI does the scan, it is able to pick out your experiences and grade it appropriately. Now, when you then come to the point of interviews, right, that's when we get to meet you as a person. So I always tell people that the CV is your first foot in, right? Most organizations now will do, we use maybe an automated CV reviewer to do a first look before it gets precipitated to a point where actual humans can look at maybe the top 10 percentile or something. So make sure you've captured your experiences appropriately. Again, you should not create your CV on the fly, right? It's something you have to intentionally sit and make sure you are capturing your experiences from school, all your volunteering experience on your CVs. I take, for instance, myself, when I got in, my interview was largely about my volunteering in SP. So I guess there was a requirement for someone that's done something beyond the normal, something beyond the natural. Everyone goes to school. Everyone will get a 2-1. Some people will get a first class. I don't know if people still end up with 2-2, but yeah, some people may end up with 2-2, right? The organization calls out for CVs. It's either 2-1 or a first class, and some organizations a 2-2. But what you need to know is that you have to capture your experiences appropriately, such that when the reviewer goes through, they're able to rate you appropriately. Then when you come for your interview, it's now an opportunity for you to represent yourself by yourself. So if you come in and you allow your nerves to wreck you and keep you at a position where you're not able to speak clearly and coherently to the things you have done, then that's on you. And again, that's why we tell people, make sure you seek for mentorship opportunities. You go on YouTube. There are mechanisms and models for picking interview questions and answering them in a way that you sell yourself in the best light. I wish you the very best.
Thank you so much for that, Harrison. So we'll take another question from the audience. So the young lady in front had a question. In pink, just here.
Thank you for the opportunity. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, my question goes like this. May I ask if this graduate trainee role is open to candidates who have some relevant work experience, or is it strictly for fresh graduates? That's my question.
Okay. So the graduate trainee role at Sahara, I think is 0 to 2 years work experience that you can have. But then if it's more than that, you would then apply for a more experienced position. But the graduate trainee is about 0 to 2 years, I believe. My HR is in the house, so they can correct me if I'm wrong. But 0 to 2 years is typically what we accept for the graduate management training program. But There are other roles if you have way more than that. I hope that clarifies. Okay. Yes, so we have hands at this side of the hall. No, there's one behind you. Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you very much for the conversation. I want to ask a question because I had observed that if 500% individuals or GTs make applications to a company like Sahara, if Sahara might have responded to maybe the 10%, as you say, you guys would keep the other ones on the shadows, on the sideline, and they will just be waiting and waiting and waiting indefinitely. I want to ask, is this what Sahara does? But I know that I had submitted some applications to Sahara, and then it's just been cold. I don't know whether it went through. I don't know whether it was even received or any other stuff. So I want to know, why is it always very difficult to respond to mails, even if it's not successful? Sometimes it comes back as feedback. Sometimes it comes back as something would say, okay, this is a love letter. Yeah, we understand. And then we would optimize ourselves, upskill, and keep showing up. But then when you don't respond, we are in the dark. We know nothing about how you've graded us or something. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So are you speaking generally to how the industry treats applications? Or is it, you're asking about Sahara Group's recruitment process? Because,
yes.
Hold on. Because, if it's for Sahara Group, you put an application forward. If it's not successful, you are informed about if you are taken or not. So typically, when you are invited for the first stage assessment, you are informed if you made it through. And if you're unsuccessful, you're actually also informed. If what you're asking for is, without us accepting you individually, tell you how to upskill, you see how that can be a bit of a trouble, right? Because we haven't properly met you. But from a first level evaluation, like Harrison had said, the CV gets your foot in the door. We've seen the foot in the door, we don't think it's an appropriate fit at this time. We unfortunately are unable to speak to every individual client, applicant, on why it's not a good fit at this time.
I believe your AI systems that does your selection can be automated in such a way that it can give feedback to a more, not just we are moving on to the next candidate, more like a more specific kind of feedback. Okay. Because feedbacks are important. It may be a bad news, it may be a good news. They are news, and they are important. So what I'm fighting for is to make sure that these feedbacks can help us, not just receiving a generic generated mail or generated response.
All right, thank you. So that same AI, that's what you use as well to evaluate yourself. All right, so next question, please.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to ask, so let's say you are interested in a specific project that the Sahara Group is doing, that has been your engineering and technical interest, and that you think you are pushing to enter Sahara so that you will specifically be part of that because you feel and you think it's something big and it's something that will add value. Now, let's say you get into Sahara and you don't, as they say, you can come in with this expertise and then they will just put you in other departments and all that. So is there a way where someone can push so that they can get into that specific project, that, suits both their interests, their expertise, and, the whole round package? Thank you.
You're welcome. So Femi and Anu spoke about that at length, that when you're a young professional, typically you should try to be a sponge. No knowledge is lost. Sometimes we do have specific interests or projects that we hope we're given the opportunity to work in, but that doesn't always happen, especially when you're starting out your career. So the key thing to focus on is the opportunity that you're given in that time. Be a sponge. whilst also looking for a possible option that comes up where you're able to work on that dream project. And unfortunately, even if you're able to work on that project, it might not be in the position that you're hoping that you're in. But with every opportunity that you're given, embrace it, give it your best. And you just might work for it, or you just might not. You might just really enjoy what you find yourself doing in the time.
So, Mudupe, I'd just like to add to answer a bit about his question. So I think the responsibility is with you, right? You need to first understand that organizations are not set up as training institutions, right? You may want to be on a project for training purposes, right? But organizations are not set up primarily as training institutions. They are set up for business. So the decision to train people has to fit into a strategic framework. So the responsibility is on you to understand that strategic framework and position yourself, right? I would have shared maybe my personal story. There's a certain career path or line of career path you want to get on. You don't sit down and just have conversations. The question is, if a project management role opens, for instance, do you have PMP? Do you have Prince 2? Have you done any courses around that? So those are the way organizations tend to think. So the responsibility is with you to ensure that whilst you are temporarily on a career path, you are showing forth, showing up, making them understand that you deserve to be here. And at some point, it's just normal. HR will recognize you as a top talent, and those conversations will be had. And when those conversations are had, you will show them that individually or independently, you've built yourself sufficiently to take on those responsibilities. So always have at the back of your mind that no company is set up primarily for training people. Companies are set up for business, and part of business strategy is to develop talents. Thank you.
Thank you, Harrison. We're going to take one last question from the audience, and then we'll end with a concluding question to all the panelists, and we'll round up the session.
I'd like to add something,
please,
to the last question. So Sahara is planning to hit 350,000 barrels in a few years. This is an example of a project, right? And like the group HR said, we have a list of roles that we want to fill. So this is just to let you know that, yes, sometimes you might not get exactly what you want, but we do have opportunities, and that is why you're here. So sell yourself and ensure that all the skills that you have, you're able to get yourself into exactly what you want. But there are opportunities for what you want. There are so many. I think she mentioned we're planning to fill over 2,000 roles. So definitely what you can do, or what your background is available for you. And if you get something else, still working with Sahara to get to that dream is already an achievement for you. And whatever skills you gain from whatever role you enter into, those are transferable skills that I'm sure would be applied to any other role you end up in later.
Thank you so much, Olamide and Harrison. So one last question from the crowd, please. Who would it be? I don't know. Yeah, just speak. Who is smiling the most?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I would like to ask if during your recruitment in Sahara, if there is this segregation between bachelor's degrees holders and HND holders.
Sorry, the question, do we have a preference? Oh, what?
Yes, if there's a preference or a segregation between bachelor's holders and HND holders.
I would call on my esteemed head of talent acquisition to speak to that. Mr. Kende is in the room. Kennedy is here, so just give it to him. So the question is if we have a preference towards HND holders and holders with bachelors.
We are an equal opportunity organization. Everybody has something to contribute. So we are able to assess candidates across different disciplines and different academic backgrounds.
Thank you very much, Kennedy. So that will be all from questions from the audience. And I would just like to hear our panelists. I'll start with Anu. If there is nothing that everyone takes here today, what is one thought that you would like these young professionals to leave here with today, remembering this career fair with Spe Sahara?
So I think essentially, you need to put things in perspective, right? There is so many universities in the country today churning out so many graduates. In fact, at some point, the federal government had to halt issuing licenses to new institutions because the number of institutions were just growing sporadically. So you need to think about that and see how do you then differentiate yourself from the crowd, right? There's so many graduates with first class or 2-1. How do I distinguish myself? It's by going above and beyond, really. You have to do more than the average. Everybody here has spoken about how you need to apply yourself, constantly do that, seek mentorship, wherever there's volunteering opportunities, leverage those, because I promise you, the things you think don't matter actually do. And I'll make myself an example. When I landed at my board interview, some of the things that I had put on my CV that I thought would just be overlooked were some of the talking points, right, on things that I had done. The business leaders were actually interested in knowing what my motivation was for doing those things and understanding whether I even did it or not, or whether I was just selling lies. So essentially, it's important to document your talents, document your experience, no matter how little, and just ensure that you're positioning yourself as a trainable candidate, as a candidate that the organization can leverage on to achieve its goals and objectives.
Thank you so much for that, and I think that deserves a round of applause. And then Femi, I would also like to hear, what would you want these young professionals to leave here with if they forget everything that we have discussed?
So for young professionals, the new graduates here, it's not the end of the world. You will definitely, most often than not, do several interviews, apply for several jobs. Don't be put down in case you don't get what you expect. It's a learning curve. I would say you should inculcate a habit of doggedness, right? That character of doggedness and believing in yourself. There were quite a few tests I failed, and I felt bad just for maybe a day, and the next day we hit the ground running. They say a moving man always meets his luck, as they always say. So there are definitely more opportunities. However, you need to be prepared. You don't want the opportunity to catch you unawares. You need to be prepared. If you want to get in as whatever role you are looking at getting in, please prepare ahead of time. It's not going to meet you. Nobody's going to say, I've seen situations where, okay, when I was doing my master's internship, and you see a particular skill that, oh, I wish I had learned this skill. No, it's not going to wait for you. You have to prepare ahead. So I think that's what I want you to go with. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Femi. Please, can we give a round of applause to our intelligent panelists here? If you've learned or picked a thing or two, please give them a round of applause as they leave the stage. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the wisdom. Oh, okay, we should take a picture.
panelists for that insightful session. So next on the agenda today, we have the career clinic and the speed interviews, which will be happening concurrently. So just to make sure that everything is organized, we'll take the first 5 columns to my left to start with the career clinic, which will be happening on the left side of the hall. And we'll take the first right columns on my right to start with the speed interviews. Please note that the speed interviews will last 5 minutes per person, so make sure to sell yourself within those 5 minutes. For the purpose of the interview, we would be recruiting for the following disciplines: corporate communications / marketing / public relations / government relations / community relations, business development, and corporate social responsibility. We would also be recruiting for supply chain, logistics, fleet, procurement, demand planning, and transportation. Third on the list will be security, health, safety, security and environment, facilities, real estate, and construction workers. We'll be recruiting for strategy, the business performance department, accounts and finance, risk, audit, internal control, human resources, legal office, and then general administration. We'll also be recruiting for drilling ops, drilling operations, well services, well engineering, oil and gas operations. We'll be recruiting for instrumentation as well. 8th on the list will be geology, geoscience, subsurface engineering, information technology, and artificial intelligence roles. Then number 9, robotics, software and hardware. And finally, but not the least, sustainability or ESG department. So to keep the rest of the crowd occupied, we'll display a QR code behind me, on the screen behind me. So please scan and engage with us, play the fun, exciting games, because we have prizes to be won. So just so that we're organized once again, so the first 5 rows on my left, please, you can start, you can head to the left for the career clinic. And then the first 5 rows on my right, first 5 columns rather on my right, you can proceed for your speed interviews. Thank you. Sorry, crowd control, please, could you help organize and coordinate people to do that? Thank you. Okay, just as a note of emphasis, we have exciting disciplines at the booth. Please stand up. I think we've done the first right column, so the next batch can go. Please line up. Look at the names on the booth and align your interest to where you want to grow your career. So again, we're recruiting for corporate communications, marketing, public relations, government relations, community relations, business development, corporate social responsibility roles. We're also recruiting for the supply chain, logistics, fleet, procurement, demand planning, and transporting department for Sahara. If you're interested in security, health, safety, security and environment, facilities, real estate, and construction, this is also the place for you. Please make your way to the booth on the right-hand side of the hall. For the strategy, business performance, accounts, finance, risk, audits, internal control, human resources, legal, office, and general administration, please make your way to the right as well. We can still see that some booths are empty. Please stand up and make your way to the right to register your interest and do your speed interviews. So for those of us that are still sitting down, to keep us busy, we can scan the QR codes and play the games on Kahoot. If you have interest in drilling operations, well services, well engineering, oil and gas operations and instrumentations, please register your interest by joining the interview at the speed booth by the right.
What began as a petroleum trading company in Lagos.
All right, so the crowd in the middle, hello guys, hello, hi. Are we not interested in career clinics or interviews?
Has grown into one of Africa's leading energy and
cool. But you can still, so there are still some empty booths to the right. You can have a walk and check out.
Operations spanning exploration and production, trade and logistics, and power generation.
Okay, so a lot of, because it's 5 minutes per person, you might want to shift to the right to kind of know when it's your turn. So as people leave, just move to the right. Don't forget your belongings.
Every megawatt generated.
We're also recruiting for geology, geoscience, subsurface engineering, information technology, and artificial intelligence roles. If you have interest in robotics, software, and hardware, please make yourself available at the booth to your right. So while that is going on, we can also attend the career clinic happening at the left. Just in case we're not occupied currently, please scan the QR code behind me to play exciting games and win wonderful prizes.
What began as a petroleum trading company in Lagos has grown into one of Africa's leading energy and infrastructure conglomerates, operating across more than 42 countries, with operations spanning exploration and production, trade and logistics, and power generation and distribution.
For 3 decades, our mission has remained clear, bringing energy to life responsibly. Behind every megawatt generated and every litre delivered are our people. Over 6,000 professionals across the globe, united by the Sahara spirit of resilience, innovation, and making a difference. In 1996, a group of young African entrepreneurs dared to dream, to prove that an indigenous African company could compete on a global stage. That dream became Sahara Group.
What began as a petroleum trading company in Lagos has grown into one of Africa's leading energy and infrastructure conglomerates, operating across more than 42 countries, with operations spanning exploration and production, trade and logistics, and power generation and distribution.
For 3 decades, our mission has remained clear, bringing energy to life responsibly. Behind every megawatt generated and every litre delivered are our people. over 6,000 professionals across the globe united by the Sahara spirit of resilience, innovation, and making a difference.
Okay, can I get everyone's attention, please? Just so that we're not standing for a long time, we can organize the seating better. So if you're interested in the corporate communications / marketing / public relations, government relations, community relations, business development, corporate social responsibility, please sit at the forward far right, so the first 5 rows to the right. If you have interest in those departments, please sit down at that side to make sure that everything is organized, and you'll be called on row by row. If you have an interest in supply chain, logistics, fleet procurement, demand planning and transportation, please have your seat center forward. So when they're calling people for interviews, that's how we're going to call it. So if you're found sitting in the middle, we'll call you for supply chain, logistics, fleet procurement, demand planning and transportation. Okay, just to emphasize, we are not only looking for graduate roles, we are also in the market for experienced hires, mid-level, senior level. Please make your way to the booth as well. We'll be happy to sit with you and have a chat on your experience. So the speed interviews is not just for the graduate roles or entry roles, it's also for experienced hires. Thank you. Hello IT, if you please prop the QR code back on the screen. So while we sit down and we wait for our interviews, we can distress by scanning the codes and playing some games and winning some prizes. We have exciting prizes and I'm sure that you'd be happy to have them. So please scan the QR codes and play the games. IT, please can we have this prop back on the screen? All right, while that's being done, let's endeavor to sit and wait for our turns as we conduct the speed interviews. Okay, so the QR codes are back on the screen. Please scan them and see the exciting games we have for you today. I think we have someone who will come up and walk us through what the games look like and what the prizes will be.
some ginger. Give me some ginger. Here we go.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Can we have candidates for finance, business performance, accounting, audit, internal control, strategy, move to the booth on the right? So if you have interest in one of these career disciplines, please attend the interviews on the right. Thank you. We need about 3 people now. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Hello everyone, good afternoon. So I don't know if you looked at the screens. We have a game going on right now, a live Kahoot game. I will be announcing winners by 4 p.m. So if you haven't played the game, scan the QR code, play the game. We'll be announcing our winners and gifting them 4 p.m. on the dot. So please bring out your phone, scan. Let's do this. Thank you. If you're waiting, no need to be idle. Scan the QR code, play the game. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I would like to announce that the interviews going on are not only for entry-level positions. Here are the categories that are being interviewed for: corporate communications, marketing, public relations, government relations, community relations, business development, corporate social responsibility, supply chain, logistics, fleet, procurement, demand planning, transport, security, health, safety, security and environment, facilities, real estate, construction, strategy, business performance, accounts, finance, risk, audit, internal control, human resources, legal, office and general administration, drilling operations, well services and engineering, oil and gas operations, instrumentation, geology, geoscience, subsurface engineering, information technology, artificial intelligence, robotics, software and hardware, sustainability. I'll take it again. The interviews going on are not only for entry-level positions. Here are the categories being interviewed for: corporate communications, marketing, public relations, government relations, community relations, business development, corporate social responsibility, supply chain, logistics, fleet procurement, demand planning, transport, security, health, safety, security and environment, facilities, real estate, construction, strategy, business performance, accounts, finance, risk, audit, internal control, human resources, legal, office and general administration, drilling operations, well services engineering, oil and gas operations, instrumentation, geology, geoscience, subsurface engineering, information technology, artificial intelligence, robotics, software and hardware, sustainability. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Please, I would like to let everyone know that the interviews going on are not only for entry-level roles. The categories being interviewed for are corporate communications, marketing, public relations, government relations, community relations, business development, corporate social responsibility, supply chain, logistics, fleet, procurement, demand planning, transport, security, which involves health, safety, security, and environment, facilities, real estate, construction, strategy, business performance, accounts, finance, risk, audit, internal control, human resources, legal, office and general administration, drilling operations, well services, engineering, oil and gas operations, instrumentation, geology, geoscience, subsurface engineering, information technology, artificial intelligence, robotics, software and hardware, sustainability. Good evening, everyone. Please, I would like to let you know that the roles being interviewed for are not entry level only. These are the categories being interviewed for: corporate communications, marketing, public relations, government relations, community relations, business development, corporate social responsibility, supply chain, logistics, fleet, procurement, demand planning, transport, security, health, safety, security and environment, facilities, real estate, construction, strategy, business performance, accounts, finance, risk, audit, internal control, human resources, legal, office and general administration, drilling operations, well services engineering, oil and gas operations, instrumentation, geology, geoscience, subsurface engineering, information technology, artificial intelligence, robotics, software and hardware, sustainability.
Hello, everyone. We have the winners for our game. I know you're all occupied with your interviews and all, but we have the winners for our games. So I'll announce your username, and you can come and meet me to get your prize. But you have to come with evidence. So you have to show me the back end of your username. So if your name is Rational Lion, Nifty Dragon, and Purple Swan, you are the winners of our Kahoots game. So just identify me and come with your evidence. Please, come with your evidence that you are the participant. Thank you. And then if you look at the screen right now, we have a QR code that is up that you can scan. Scan and leave a comment on our pin post and win a prize. This is our second game. So the first 5 people to leave a comment as it relates to what is one skill or talent you believe is underrated but has the power to create opportunities and save lives? You share your answers in the comment section on our pin post. Tell us why. Use the hashtag #TalentBeyondXXX. Make sure to follow Sahara Group as well on Instagram as you're doing that. So please do this. First 5 people to comment will get a prize. Thank you. And then if your name is Nifty Dragon for Kahoot, if your username was Nifty Dragon, Purple Swan, Rational Lion, please meet me with your evidence. Hi. I found Rational Lion, remaining Nifty Dragon and Purple Swan. Please, if you're looking for your BRT card, you can get it for me. Missing BRT card, please come and collect. Thank you. Okay, please, for the BRT card, you were sitting in front where subsurface people were sitting down. So come and collect your BRT card, please. Thank you.